Okay, students, you are about to begin your opinion performance task. These are the directions. Bike sharing programs provide bicycles for a charge in cities. People pick up a bicycle at one station in the city. They use it to travel around the city. Then when they are done, they return it to any other station in the same city. For this task, you will be writing an opinion article related to the topic of bike sharing. Before you write your article, you will review 3 sources that provide an introduction to the topic and give 2 different viewpoints about whether bike sharing is a good idea. After you have reviewed these sources, you will answer some questions about them. Briefly scan the sources and the 3 questions that follow, then go back and read the sources carefully to gain the information you will need to answer the questions and write an article. In part 2, you will write an opinion article using information you have read. Now, I went ahead and made a Go Formative test for all of you, so I've added some questions that I think will be helpful and will make you think very carefully about the directions. I will now read several sources to you. As I'm reading, go ahead and listen. You should have a paper article with you as well that you could follow along with, or you could look at the screen as I'm talking of the YouTube video that I will be uploading. So to save time, we're just going to start reading the stories. Source 1, bike sharing programs. Bike sharing programs allow people within a city to use bikes for free. People in Europe have been using bike sharing programs for years. Bike sharing stations have started to pop up in many of our own cities too. This creative idea has been spreading across the country over the past few years. At the beginning of 2013, there were 22 programs running in American cities. Because the idea is so popular, people think that the number of programs will double very soon. These cities have other types of public transportation, such as subways and buses. Bike sharing programs were started so that people would be able to use a bike easily when they needed one. The programs give people the option to use bikes to travel short distances around a big city. There are many bike stations that are set up in the city. People take a bike out of one station, use it for some time, and then return it to another station within the city. People can use the bikes on any day and at any time. All of the stations are self-service stations. Each dock or area that holds the bikes has an electronic machine. This machine takes payment from the customer and releases one of the bikes. The machine also starts to track the time that the bike is being used. The machine at the dock where the bike is returned can then calculate the total time that the bike was in use. Many people are using the bicycles in these programs, and cities are welcoming the stations. These are signs that bike sharing programs are a success. Source number 2, bike sharing, a great idea. New and exciting programs have started in many cities. Bike sharing programs. These innovative programs allow people to borrow and use bikes for a small price. They are a wonderful idea for many reasons. When you decide to ride a bike to get somewhere instead of driving a car, that decision brings positive changes. One change that happens is that it takes a car off the road. This helps in a few ways. For one thing, it reduces traffic. If more people decided to ride a bike to get to and from work every day, fewer cars would be on the road at the same time. Rush hour traffic might not be that bad if this happened. It also helps to get rid of some of the pollution that cars produce. Over time, having fewer cars on city streets would help the environment greatly. Just think how much cleaner the air would be if this program were successful in all the major cities in the United States. Bike sharing is also convenient for many of us. People living in a big city might not want to buy their own bicycles. Bikes can be expensive. They are also not easy to store in small apartments. Unfortunately, bikes often are a target to be stolen. The bike sharing program is a great way to avoid all of these problems. The cost to use the bikes in these programs is low. When you are finished using the bike, you drop the bike off at a docking station. Where you will store the bike is not a problem. Also, if you don't own the bike, you won't worry about it being stolen after you've dropped it off. Riding a bicycle is great exercise. Even short bike trips can help people live a healthier lifestyle. Bike sharing programs make it easier for busy people to be more active. These programs also create jobs. When a bike needs to be fixed, someone will need to fix it. Who will be there to answer any questions the public may have about the programs? People will need to be hired to do these tasks. Because the programs have become so successful, hundreds of jobs have already been created. As the programs spread to other cities, the number of available jobs will increase. Bike sharing programs add so much value to the city and the people who live and work there. More and more cities are seeing the benefits. Many of them are making plans to start a bike sharing program. It is even possible that we may one day see these wonderful programs in every large city across America. Okay, the third source, bike sharing in need of repair. Bike sharing involves the use of bikes in a city for a fee. People pick up a bike at a bike docking station and then return it later to any station in the city. The number of cities with bike sharing programs continues to grow. Some of the larger cities have thousands of bikes and hundreds of stations as parts of their program. At first, this sounds like a great idea, but unexpected problems have come up. Not everyone sees these programs as a good solution. They were designed to make life easier, but they have actually been causing some big headaches. First of all, the biking dock stations are self-service, allowing people to use the bikes at any time. This means that an employee is not present at any of the stations. If something does not work properly when you try to take out a bike, nobody is there to help. This has been known to happen quite often. You can try to pay again and see if the bike will unlock the second time. You can also just leave the bike and lose your money. Calling customer service is another option, but that will take time. One of the hopes for these stations is that people will start using bicycles instead of other forms of transportation. If you need to be somewhere at a certain time, waiting to speak to a customer service representative to fix the problem is not something you would want to do. It is certainly easy to see how frustrating this can become. Secondly, think about the space 1 or 2 bicycles take up. Then imagine thousands of them on already crowded streets and sidewalks. That crowded picture in your head is a reality. These bikes are sitting on the street so that the public can access them. They are sitting in front of stores and apartment buildings where people live. Some docking stations hold up to 50 or 60 bikes. These docks are taking up a lot of valuable space over the city. Finally, if you have ever walked around busy city streets, you know that you need to be alert. You need to watch for cars and buses, and you need to be careful not to bump into anyone walking beside you. Now add thousands of people on bicycles. This can be a dangerous situation. The people riding the bikes may not always be experienced bike riders either. As a result, somebody could get seriously hurt. The overall idea of the bike sharing program may be a good one. It is worth the problems it creates. Is it worth the problems it creates though? If people want to use a bike to get around, they have options. They can either buy their own or rent one from a bike store. Having a bike sharing program as a third option is simply not necessary. Okay, so those were your 3 sources. I'm going to scroll down here, and I took these 3 questions and I put them in a different form on your GoFormative site. So you will answer those 3 questions and a few more that I created. Then you will be starting your own written article. You'll be writing your own article. Please remember that a well-written opinion article expresses a clear opinion. That would be your opening, your introduction. It is well organized and stays on topic. And here we have, it has an introduction and a conclusion. Your conclusion at the end is very important also. It needs to have your call to action. That is when you ask somebody to do something to support your idea or your opinion. You use transitions. You use details from the sources to support the opinion. And please don't just copy. Use your own words. Develop ideas fully. Use clear language and follow rules of writing, spelling, punctuation, grammar, We call them conventions. Please do not start your sentences with a lowercase letter. All sentences begin with a capital, and indents are found at the beginning of every new paragraph. Okay, begin your work. Manage your time carefully, but you will have plenty of time. Plan your article, write your article. We will not be revising and editing your final draft. It'll just be submitted. But please use your scratch paper that you are given. Thank you very much. I know you're all going to do a fantastic job, so get to it.